doing, everybody? And welcome to Farewell to Joe. And no bones about it, we're here to talk about the greatest quarterback of all time, Joe Montana. And I'm joined by a guy who I don't think you'd get a whole lot of argument if you called him the greatest safety of all time ever in the NFL, Ronnie Lott.
How you doing, Mark?
Hey, good to have you here, and
thank you.
Congratulations in order, because as of today, you are a Kansas City Chief.
That's true, and unfortunately, I wish I could have signed a little bit earlier. Maybe Joe might have changed his mind, but right now I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to this year.
Kansas City, a place for one future Hall of Famer to take off and one to join. I guess you wouldn't be going there, though, if you didn't think they had a shot, just like Joe did a couple of years ago.
Well, I tell you, I think they do have a shot. I'm really excited about it because obviously they do have another quarterback by the name of Steve Bono that's going to step up to the plate. But if you look at their team, you look at their defense, they have an excellent shot, especially in the AFC right now. No one's really a front runner there, and I think we've got a great shot of winning it.
As you were sitting there yesterday at Justin Herman Plaza behind Joe, along with some of your former teammates, some of the thoughts that went through your mind, was it a lot of down memory lane for you, remembering what Joe had done?
Of course. I mean, some of the things that they were playing before he walked out there, talking about some of the plays, and yet, really to me, the thing that went through my mind is the adversity that he went through. The back surgery, some of the other injuries that he went through, and being able to overcome that. I've always looked at him and measured that as the ultimate compliment to not only his team, but to his family, to the people that cheered him on yesterday, is that he was able to always find a way to overcome that. And that's something to me that's so special about an individual.
When you guys were coming up and you started basically around the same time, early 80s, when was it that you first said about Joe Montana, man, this guy's got something special? When did you first notice it? You
know what's funny? It happened before that. I played against him when he was at Notre Dame, and it was this young kid that I said, who is this guy? You know, number 3. And we were winning the game 24-3, and all of a sudden this guy got hot at halftime, and we couldn't stop him. Next thing I know, Notre Dame was ahead. And yet it was Joe Montana doing his same thing that he had done, I guess, in the Cotton Bowl, doing it against SC, as well as having the opportunity to do it throughout the 80s and as well as in the 90s. So I saw something special just because of the fact that he was able to deal with that pressure situation. The SC Notre Dame game is just as big as some of the Super Bowl games. At least when you're from SC and Notre Dame, you would think that. But you could tell right then and there he was able to deal with pressure.
And little did you know he'd be doing it in the same uniform as you in a couple years down the line.
Well, thank God for that.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of the sights and sounds of Joe Montana and a real happening in San Francisco as they say goodbye to number 16.
And I have to be honest with you, because I really and truly never thought that this day would ever come where I would saying that word, retirement, but unfortunately it's here. I forgot to tell you that I was going to try to play basketball for the Chicago Bulls.
You know, just think we could all just be him for one day. Just take the ball and be cool. Just, you know, like Joe Montana did stuff that everyone else tried to do, but he made it look easier, and he did it cool. I mean, other guys go, bang, you know, and they're looking, you know, stuff coming out, they're looking out their ear hole. He just slide it out there. Where'd that come from?
We had some tough times. There was a young kid from Notre Dame when I was also young in 1979 that was drafted. He wasn't given much of a chance. He wasn't given much of an expectation. He was drafted, I think, with the 82nd pick. He turned out to be the greatest quarterback that ever played this game.
It truly has been a great 16 years. My friendships and experiences will be something I will cherish forever. There's no replacing people like them, like you, and I thank you all again. I've had a wonderful career. Thank you very much.
Hey, you know, Joe's even cool in front of all those people. Didn't seem to bother him a bit.
Well, I know my hands are sweating, and yet The same old Joe.
He's cool. I liked Wayne Walker's line. He said, Joe was as cool as the other side of the pillow. You know?
It was sometimes that he was even cooler than that.
All right, we've got a young man who has spent a little time in the huddle with Joe Montana. We will be joined by current 49er Harris Barton when we continue on Farewell to Joe.
Jumpstart 49ers. They're 6 yards away from Pontiac. Looking, throwing in the end zone.
Farewell Joe is sponsored by General Motors, who offers value pricing, and by Shell, the best-selling gasoline in the world.
Brent Jones has been known to carry the team.
Right, the team and all its gear.
With easy access loading and available seating for 8, this premium value GMC Safari lets you carry your whole team in comfort. Brent Jones has a lot of pull.
And who wouldn't in a new Safari?
Now an extra allocation of premium value Safaris, equipped just for California, are priced to give you a lot of pull.
See your Northern California GMC truck dealer today.
With Formula Shell gasoline, you might find your car performing in ways you never thought it could. It's what you'd expect from Shell, the world's best-selling gasoline.
It used to be we were the good guys, not afraid to make the tough calls.
We save lives that way.
Now it's about personal injury lawyers.
What we can't do because of too many lawsuits.
I didn't take this job to sit around and worry about getting sued.
If we don't stop lawsuit abuse,
I might not be able to do my job.
And my job just might be to save your life.
Fight lawsuit abuse and protect your right to sue. For common sense legal reform, call 1-800-670-2682.
Dennis, you're just a little bit too tight, man. You need to loosen up. Who, me? Be provocative. Don't be so conservative. Shake things up. Be shocking. Let your hair down.
Please, lay off the hair, okay?
Over the top, man. Be an individual. So what do you want me to do? Well, you can start by eating your pizza the wrong way. Crust first.
That's weird, man. That's too weird.
Introducing stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut. With a ring of cheese baked into a totally new, thinner crust, you'll want to eat it the wrong way. Crust first.
Let's turn it around.
Well, Dave, you crazy, man. You crazy.
Large, just $9.99.
Our salute to Joe Montana continues, and no better way to celebrate it than a couple of guys who have been there all the way with Joe, Ronnie, Lott, and Harris Barton. And first of all, we got to say happy birthday to you, Harris.
Hey, thank you very much.
It's not number 39, is it?
No, not yet. soon. It's good.
Not even close. And another reason for congratulations for Harris. He will be the man to join us on our pregame shows here on Channel 2 throughout the regular season. 49er playbook, replacing Ricky Waters.
Well, thank you very much. I can promise you one thing. I won't drop any passes or fumble. So I'll be able to come in here and criticize everybody who does.
What a way to break in. And, you know, I wanted to have an offensive guy here who had actually been through the wars with Joe Montana to talk a little bit about how cool he really was in the huddle. Your thoughts about that?
Well, really, when he came onto the field, he was unbelievably cool. He knew everything about the situation at hand, what the score was, the down and distance, the referee's name, opponent's names, the safety, where he was on the hash. Was he outside the numbers? What was he doing? And so when you put all those things together, it really showed why he was the greatest quarterback of all time, because he was so much better prepared than anybody else on the field that he just took the game to a new level.
Well, that's interesting. I had never really heard that he was that familiar with everything, but I know that he took it to a certain level that it doesn't seem like a whole lot of guys were conscientious enough to do.
Well, it was almost like everybody else was going full speed, and Joe looked at things like they were in slow motion. And the only way you could really see that was when you reviewed the film on Monday of a Sunday game, and you would see, you know, from the end zone copy, Joe fading back to throw a pass to Jerry Rice, and the defensive end's hand go across the screen, and then all of a sudden you'd see the safety's arm go up, and the ball would just be perfectly thrown to Jerry Rice, and you would stop the film and you think to yourself, you know, how did he do that? You know, it looked so easy on film, but you just know it was so difficult.
But I want to ask you something now. You talk the football side. Now, let's get into Joe.
Right.
Tell me a little bit more about Joe.
Well, he was a prankster. He was a guy who never really wanted to grow up. He was always in the locker room, you know, throwing stuff at people, throwing ice at people, putting the cellophane on toilet seats before a training camp. You know, practical joker. And I think that he brought a love to the game that a 12-year-old would bring to the game, and he really continued to do that until maybe this year when he felt like when he woke up in the morning, it just wasn't fun anymore.
You know, I think if you were going to tag one word to Joe Montana and his illustrious career, it would probably be comeback. Not only comebacks in the games, but comebacks from injuries, and he was able to rise above each and every occasion. And let's take a look at some of the comebacks in Joe Montana's 16-year career.
And of course, for the upstart 49ers, they're 6 yards away from Pontiac. Looking, throwing in the end zone. Caught it! Dwight Clark!
Well, you can look at it a couple ways. Maybe I played so bad so often, they get stuck in those situations.
Montana, Rice, he's open! No flags are down, touchdown!
No, I just don't. I think it's one thing that I just, you know, what can go wrong? You're already losing, right? You can't do any more damage.
3 wide receivers out to the left. Montana gets some time. There's a flag down, and it's caught in the end zone. Touchdown to Jerry Rice. And it's going to be offside against Cincinnati. A flag down in the end.
But I think it's just a feeling, you know, that of competing more than anything, and it's the ultimate in competition if you're able to perform in that time frame. And some guys enjoy it, and some guys don't. And I don't. It's not that I enjoy being there. I just don't fear being in the position. And you know, I'd much rather be 20 points ahead. But if you got to be there, you got to be there. And there's no sense of. In most cases, you have plenty of time anyway, unless it's something absurd. But it's really nothing to fear.
Record with 12 catches. He's in motion. Montana. Touchdown, John Taylor.
I got to tell you, for you out in the viewing audience, these guys get pumped up watching these highlights all over again.
That's true, and you know what's exciting is that when I saw that play with the Dallas situation, the great thing about that is that you know that Joe has always prepared himself for that situation. I remember many times practicing against him and sitting there trying to figure out how can we stop him in a 2-minute situation. He'd always defeat us.
Yeah, and the Bengal game, the Super Bowl, that certainly was one of my greatest sporting moments, being on the field with that and going 92 yards with 2 minutes to go in the game and in a Super Bowl and throwing that ball to John Taylor. And really a lot of people don't know that we had called the wrong formation in that play, and Joe really emphasized just getting that thing done, and he threw it to John Taylor for a touchdown.
Beautiful. Now I have to ask you, I heard this story that after Joe threw the touchdown pass to Dwight Clark, he celebrated a little, but he made a beeline for Ed Too Tall Jones, who had said he didn't respect the 49ers. He got right in his face, and paraphrasing here, he said, "Respect that, sir."
Well, I tell you, the one thing about Joe is that he's always felt that a lot of people didn't respect who he was. They've always blamed the system. They've always said it was other things, and yet he always had that chip on his shoulder. And the great ones keep that chip on their shoulder. When they wake up in the morning, they have a chip on their shoulder, figuring out how they're going to get better. And that's exciting to be around people like that. That's why a guy like this, you know, Harris Barton, he has the same attitude. But that's important if you want to be great.
Yeah, to get you guys on the set, we had to knock the chip off both your shoulders.
That's right.
We're going to continue with another man, a former teammate of Joe's, who definitely played with a chip on his shoulder, one of the great linebackers in 49er history, Keena Turner, as we return with the Farewell to Joe.
Super Bowl record with 12 catches. He's in motion. Montana. Touchdown, John Taylor.
Hi, I'm Ronnie Lott, and I'm here with some former 49ers, Tina Turner, Roger Craig, and Dwight Hicks. We're going to invite you to a benefit basketball game, and Roger's going to tell you about it.
It's called Challenge of the Decade in a friendly basketball. Yeah, that's right. We're going to show Steve Young, Jerry Rice, and Merton Hanks a few moves from the old school.
Join us May 6th at Santa Clara University as the Niners of the 80s take on the Niners of the 90s. Spank that butt.
Right.
Challenge of the Decade, May 6th, 8 p.m. tip-off, Santa Clara University, $12.50 per person, tickets through bands.
Brent Jones has been known to carry the team.
Right, the team and all its gear.
With easy access loading and available seating for 8, this premium value GMC Safari lets you carry your whole team in comfort. Brent Jones has a lot of pull.
And who wouldn't in a new Safari?
Now an extra allocation of premium value Safaris, equipped just for California, are priced to give you a lot of pull.
See your Northern California GMC truck dealer today.
With Long's Process Plus photo service, you always get quality prints and expert advice. So trust Long's with all your memories, no matter what they are. Process Plus, only at Long's Drugs. Long's Drugs makes it twice as easy to save. Bring your film to Long's Photo Center and receive a second set of prints absolutely free. Free second set of prints with Long's Process Plus every day. So get to Long's today. Long's Drugs, the best drugstore in town.
Because Dallas is coming to town this Sunday. Okay, so the Cowboys are only 4-4. Okay, it's not Super Bowl 31.5. Whether you're a rookie or a veteran of these wars, everyone knows what it means.
It means you got Troy Aikman, you got Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin. I mean,